We're going to start off with a quick introduction of each speaker. So, maybe Ryan, you could go ahead and start off just a quick intro of yourself as well as your firm.
Hi, my name is Ryan Lee. I'm an executive director and partner at Softbank Ventures Korea. I've been in this industry for the past 10 years. I joined in 2003. As many of you are aware, Softbank Ventures Korea is a 100% subsidiary investment arm of Softbank Corp. And we focus on TMT industry, mainly geographically in Korea, but we recently expanded to Southeast Asia as well. It's very pleased to meet you.
Hi, I'm Nobutake Suzuki. I'm a partner of Global Brain. And Global Brain is a Japanese venture capital firm, and we manage about $250 million US venture fund. And basically, so we established a venture fund with some corporates like KDDI. KDDI is a Japanese number 2 mobile carrier, and also recently we just launched a venture fund with the Japanese government. And mainly we focus on the IT industries, and also we cover a whole, not only Japan but also US and also Asian countries.
Hi, my name is Saemin, and I run Rakuten Ventures, and we are a 100% owned subsidiary of Rakuten, the big e-commerce company in Japan. We're based in Singapore, but we actually run a global operations, have operations in Tel Aviv, and looking at startups all around APAC and also the US. I guess our most recent investment was actually yesterday in a company called Send Anywhere by Eastmob. And we're starting to actually do more and more investments in Korea and in and around the more developed markets in Asia.
Thank you. What we'll do is maybe each one of you could, since you mentioned an investment in Korea, maybe you could pick one company, a Korean company that you've invested in. Talk about reasons why, how you came to meet with the company, what attracted you, and what were some of the challenges in getting the investment done. I think it'll be great. Maybe we just go back with, Saemin and talk about a little bit more on that investment, and we'll just go through.
Sure. So we actually finished the investment yesterday. The company is called Eastmob, and their service is called Send Anywhere. It essentially allows you to send files of any format, size, data from point A to point B in a peer-to-peer manner. It's related to encryption. It provides a lot of breadth of security. And overall, we invested in the company because the company was able to pitch itself in a very, very clear manner for value propositions. And not only that, even without any marketing, you could see already the company was growing very, very rapidly. At the same time, I was actually a user and I was a fan of the service. So, and more than anything else, the founders and the VCs, it was a very good fit. We understood that when we talked about roadmap or progression of the product base, we were very much in sync. And I don't know, there weren't a lot of challenges. I guess me investing from Singapore to Korea, there are the conventions of legal implications, but overall it was a very smooth investment.
Was it your first investment in Korea, or?
Yes, it was the first investment in Korea, actually first investment for Rakuten Ventures as a whole. So we're very, very happy to be here, and you can expect a lot more investments from us looking at Korea to actually push out into the global expanse.
Nobu, if you could talk about the investment you also just closed.
Yes, and actually yesterday, so we just issued a press release about our investment in VCNC, the company which provides a famous app, Between. And actually, personally, I have followed the company for almost 2 years, but for some internal reasons, so we couldn't invest in the company in an early stage. But so finally, so we did, and the reason why we decided to invest in the company is, basically, so we would have tons of SNS, but these days we have seen the issue of the privacy, related to SNS. And when I saw the Between first, I thought so this must be a next generation of SNS, just for couples. And actually, the company, so is of course dominant in not only in Korea but also in Japan and also other countries. And I believe the company could be so maybe de facto standard of the next generation SNS. And now, so we are going to support the companies' business in Japan, but not only in Japan, but also as GB, so we have a pretty good reach to Asian major companies. So I believe so we can support their business in Asian countries too.
Ryan, can you talk about maybe one Korean investment
Sure.
that you're most excited about, or the latest?
Sure. In general, what I like is solve a problem that is at big stake. So, for example, I made an investment into a company called TerraScale, which is a family semiconductor company. It develops a world's lowest power consumption, fastest bandwidth network chip. The reason why I invested in that company is because I believe the overall secular trend in increase in bandwidth and increase in connected devices, and the trend into cloud will certainly cause a problem in a bandwidth in a core network and cloud. So I wanted to contribute to the problem of this bottleneck issue, which I think is a big problem. So, similar example can be demonstrated by Open Survey, which I also invested into, a company called IDNQ, that enabled many of small and medium-sized company which was not able to initiate a survey in a conventional method in a very cost-effective and very time-efficient manner. So that's kind of an investment that I like to make.
Okay, before I go on to ask more questions, I wanted to briefly ask the audience if any of you have a question. Does anyone have a sort of a question you want to ask to any of the members here at this time? Not right now? Okay, then I will go ahead and keep on asking more questions, but if you think of a question that you want to ask, please raise your hand. So, briefly sort of turning the topic, you guys also invest in companies that are not in Korea. So maybe if you could talk about an investment that you've done not in Korea, and maybe, I don't know if it's a fair comparison yet, maybe talk about a sort of, how do you, when you look at a set of companies in Korea versus the set of companies in other regions, any striking differences or similarities that you run into? Maybe we'll start the other way. Maybe Ryan could start.
Well, I think the attributes which make startup company to be successful are all the same. The difference is characteristic of the market, the sheer size of the market, the competitive dynamics, and people who is involved in a value creation process. Those are differences.
But despite such a kind of financial situation, so they went public. And so these days, so maybe investors are also stock exchange, so understanding about maybe role of the maybe public market. So like maybe in case of bio companies, so they went public without profit, right? And so if we pick up a company in such a growth sectors like robotics, bio, and such a sectors, maybe we can maybe make such a venture companies go to public without profit. But usually, as a VCs, we want venture companies to be larger, bigger, and because even though after IPO, so basically, so we can't sell because of the lockup, provisions, and so we have to wait for the maybe sales of our own share. Maybe usually you have to wait more than 6 months and so on. And so maybe we need to so make our portfolio companies to be more bigger and make it public, and that's our role. And we don't want to push so our portfolio companies to go public so early, and so yeah.
Well, simply put, there seems to be a trade-off between profitability and growth over the short term, but in the long term, it's not either-or question. I think it's converging. If it is growth for the future and growth for the leadership, growth for the good things in the longer term, I think we can easily agree on the next steps. However, what we need to think is capability, whether or not the existing base of investor can support it all the way through, and whether or not we can get other investors who understand this long-term goal, down the road. If entrepreneurs or existing investors got lower confidence in such things, then probably, profitability issue will probably rise.
Okay, thank you. You've heard from these people here, these investors. So if you have them, it's not necessarily managing to profitability or to an early exit. It's basically managing your business and then confer or work with all your investors to make sure whether or not it's worthwhile to go for growth, worthwhile to go for profitability. So it's really up to the entrepreneurs to convince the investors which direction the company needs to go. So I think you've heard that the entrepreneurs actually have a lot more flexibility than that they might think otherwise. So thank you very much. I think we're out of time. So.